Have you dared to think about a summer holiday, Charlie?
No, it's one of those conversations that just has gone by the by, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, some of us are perhaps thinking about it. If you're thinking about somewhere hot, sunny, abroad, probably still a long shot, as we've been hearing about restrictions not easing so soon from the government.
Yeah, of course, worth saying as we go into this with Ben this morning. Morning to you, Ben. It's worth saying, isn't it? We've got to emphasise this every time we talk about this. At the moment, can't go anywhere. I mean, you know, that is the rules right now are very clear. You can't go on holiday, you can't go domestically or anywhere. So bearing that in mind, you're looking ahead a little bit as to what and when it might look like.
Yeah, it really is a bit of fingers crossed, isn't it, about whether any of us will be able to get away this summer. Chances are, as you've touched on, if you're thinking of a foreign trip, hold your horses. That might not happen. That's looking less and less likely. But you might see a lot more of these things on the road over the next few months, and that's because demand for domestic holidays or staycations is booming, and that's because people are thinking, look, I won't get anywhere hot and sunny this year, but I might be able to travel in the UK. In fact, there was a study done just this week, and it was done by the Tourist Authority Visit Britain, and they've been looking at how many people expect to get away, and they say that of half of all the people they spoke to in this study, half of them think that they'll probably get some sort of overnight trip of some sort over the course of the year. And why? Well, that vaccine rollout continues to give people a little bit more confidence about being able to get away. So that's one of the big drivers of all of this. But where might people be going? Apart from being just in the UK, it's outdoor locations that are doing particularly well. Things like holiday parks and campsites. In fact, the firm that's behind one of the biggest organisations of campsites says that it's had 40,000 bookings so far this year, and it's expecting to be pretty busy in the run-up to the summer. And that also applies to Charlotte, who runs a campsite in Lancashire. They were pretty busy last year, and they're gearing up for a bumper year again this year. Take a listen.
Busy last year. As soon as we could open, we did, and we were pretty much fully booked until we closed. And we have seen a dramatic increase in bookings already for this year. If we looked back at the 2019 bookings, we're above 40% over already for staycations this year.
So let's speak to Patricia Yates, who is from Visit Britain. Patricia, good morning to you. I've nipped inside in the warmth in the caravan here this morning. But look, staycations, it's going to be a year of British holidays this year, isn't it?
Yes, it does look like it, but just to counter where the industry is, I mean, we saw about 2/3 of the value wiped off of the domestic industry last year. So an industry normally worth about 90 billion lost about 57 billion pounds of that. And at the moment, the industry is on its knees. So it's been shut, doesn't know when it's going to reopen, and it doesn't know what the restrictions are going to be like. And if you're a hotel or an attraction or a pub, that's really important. And that certainty of when businesses can start open. But yes, we can see from what consumers are telling us, consumers are sort of getting more confident about the summer that they'll be able to travel.
And as well as a reassurance for the industry, Patricia, there also needs to be reassurance for customers as well, that they can book, and if the plans change, they will get their money back, because that was a big problem last year, wasn't it?
I think that's absolutely the case, and you can see many companies are offering really flexible bookings, and that's what consumers are telling us they want. They want those flexible bookings and the confidence, obviously, that COVID secure measures are in place, and that's why we've run the We're Good to Go scheme. 45,000 businesses have signed up to that, and you can look and see if the company you're booking with has got that logo on its website, and that's a really good sign to tell that you can be confident in going there. But I think consumer confidence is going to be really key.
Sorry to interrupt, Patricia. It's lovely to hear from you this morning. Patricia Yates there, who is from Visit Britain. And as you were hearing, look, so many things for the firms to be contending with, but also all of us too. So, look, we've got to avoid some of those things like the overcrowding that we saw last year, some of the big problems of the really popular spots, and also making sure there is confidence for people who can get their money back if their plans change. But now, Charlie, it really has come to something when they send me out in a caravan and the only place that I can get is outside the office. So we'll talk more about that, some top tips about where you might want to consider over the course of the year in the next hour or so.
It's nice to get out, though, isn't it, Ben? It's nice to get out.
Use
Yeah.
your imagination,
I'll take
Ben. Use your imagination when you're in that caravan. You can be in all sorts of places when you're in there.
In the warm. Let's speak to Lisa Minot, who is travel editor at The Sun. Lisa, good morning to you. So it seems that we're holidaying at home this year. Give me a sense of what you're hearing about the spike in bookings, where we might be trying to get to if and when those restrictions are lifted.
Well, as you say, I think it's all about the fact that people want to do it themselves this year to a certain degree, and we've seen a huge rise in the number of bookings for campsites. The Caravan and Motorhome Club has had a 14% increase in membership, so people are looking to actually get away under their own steam in the UK this summer, and also quite a huge increase in the number of people booking cottages as well.
Yeah, I wonder where people might be heading, because we saw last year, didn't we, Lisa, that there was a real pressure on some of the tourist hotspots, places in Cornwall, maybe on the coast in Dorset. How do we avoid a repeat of that, where everybody flocks to the same place?
I think it's really just a case of people doing a little bit of homework and finding out that there are actually plenty of fantastic places across the UK that people can actually explore. The Joy of Essex, it's got some beautiful countryside there, the likes of Suffolk and Norfolk. We don't have to just concentrate on all stampeding down to the southwest. There are plenty of other places. Northern coastline, it is really dramatic, and another great place to explore this summer.
Let's talk about money, because there were huge problems, of course, with people being able to get refunds last year. And there are suggestions as well that it could be much more expensive to go on holiday in the UK this year, because it's probably one of the only places we can go.
Well, that's right. And you've got to understand as well that there are many people who had their holidays sort of put forward to this year, having not been able to travel in last year's lockdowns or because of tier restrictions. So there's already that number of people who've already got their holidays already booked for this year. So there is going to be a pressure. It's a supply and demand situation. We are going to see prices rise. But the devil's in the detail. If you make sure that you book with a really sort of reputable company that offers a COVID guarantee, look at that guarantee, make sure it offers the kind of protection you want. There is still a way you can get away and have your money protected.